We're probably only watching the markets 30% of the time. So there's a high probability that there's going to be some decent market moves up or down and you're going to miss them. Hey there, happy Tuesday. This is right after Labor Day. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I took Monday off, but of course, like many of you, saw the market go up and down and, well, pretty much down. But that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's September, what to look at, what indicators I like to look at, what to expect for this September potentially, and then some ways you can take advantage of that. And let's also talk about volatility and watching the market, because things are very different than they used to be. This is crypto for the rest of us. I do this 6 days a week, usually, excluding Sunday. And then every day later in the day, I usually do an HBAR ICP update. Okay, let's look at a couple things here. Oh yeah, disclaimer, big dumb animal, don't do what I do. So, September 2024. You can look at past months. You can look at past years. Okay, crypto is still fairly new. It's very volatile. But you can still look at some past to give you a general idea. Dune, this is one you've seen me look at before. Essentially, if this upper line's going down and the bottom line's going up, I'll put a link to this. There's an explanation. But essentially means this is altcoin season, risk on. So money's typically maybe losing some dominance. Bitcoin may be losing some dominance. Somebody may be moving more into altcoins. So it's basically saying, hey, it's altcoin season. Great. Does that help? Not really. Probably thinking, yeah, but it's been that way for a little bit now. Okay. If we look back, and I love this coin glass, I'll also put a link to this. They've got great information here. I like this chart. You can look at Bitcoin, and they also have Ethereum, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly returns. All right, so right here, I just put it on quarterly. They've got 2024. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, which is what we're in. Now, if you look at Q4, October, November, December, you see here, I believe it's 11 months worth of data and 4 red, the rest are green. But if you look at the bottom, they've got the average and the median. Average up 88%, median up 56%. So typically the end of the year has usually been good. The down months, the down quarters weren't down that much. 14, 13, 16, 42, that one. Okay. Q3, well, the opposite. Q3 is predominantly red. We're in September. Not uncommon to have, it looks like the average is 5.3. I like medians down 5%. Okay. So down or nothing typically. If you want, you can look at month to month. You can see that September, and you might be thinking this is 2024, September. Do they have data? Yeah, they do, because the first 3 days. I checked it. If you go into daily returns, they'll have the first 3 days. First 2 days, I guess. And it's predominantly red, but it looks like October, November, December might be better. All right. So we're hoping that's the case. We're not sure. I want to show you 2 specific indicators that I like to use in TradingView. On balance volume and this one that I've been watching lately, the M2 liquidity. On balance volume, I learned technical analysis a long time ago. Martin J. Pring was my first book, and that was old. But volume being an indicator, if you don't have moves without volume, I always look at volume as preceding price. So I look at volume moves preceding price moves. On balance volume is a really simple calculation. If it closes today higher than yesterday, they add the volume. If it closes today lower, you subtract the volume. Basically saying the volume's going up on good days and it's going down on bad days. And what does it look like over time? Well, since we peaked not too long ago in March, it's been on a steady decline, right? So it hasn't really had a push out. These aren't perfect lines. These are just lines I'm watching for various reasons. But take a look at M2 global liquidity. 2 things about liquidity. It's going up. That's more money in the system. It's global. This particular one, I'm going to put a link to this page, because if you go into TradingView, even the free version, you just copy and paste this. You go in, you click indicators, and then you can search on an indicator, paste it there, hit return, it'll pop up. I'll put a link to this page because it explains. This gentleman who created it, he actually has the code here, which is cool. But he's bringing in 5 currencies, major currencies: China, US, Euro, Yen, Pound. Okay, so he's watching the global liquidity for those. And it's the M2. Think of it this way, if you don't know. M1, just think of cash and coins in circulation that you can go to the bank and you can take them out of the ATM immediately. Think of M2 as it's still cash or a cash equivalent. In other words, it's not gold, it's not a commodity, it's not a stock. It might be like a CD, a 3-month CD. So it's locked up for 3 months. So it's not immediately available, but it's going to come up in 3 months, and it is basically a cash or cash equivalent. Okay. So M2 is both of those together. A lot of people I prefer to look at the M2. I want to see, because a lot of people have been talking about global liquidity going up, central banks putting more money into the system across the world. Obviously, as you probably know, and we've seen this play out, when the U.S. handed out money over the last couple years, we saw inflation. More money went in, more money was available to people, and of course, prices went up. That's just the bare bones, dumb version of what happens when there's more money in the system. Asset prices tend to go up. Okay, so this is a good sign, and this is what people are expecting to happen. So if we've got that going up, but we do see that usually in September things aren't all that hot. I'm not expecting September to be all that great. I am watching it. We're going to talk about this in a second because it's, in my opinion, still buying season. And I like to look at Total 3. Total 3 is the entire crypto market, excluding Bitcoin and also taking out Ethereum. So you take those two large market caps. And if you see here, look how it was pretty much down days from last Sunday until this Sunday. And then it popped up. All right. Then you look at something like I've been watching Axelar. I own some. I've been wanting to buy more. Exact same pattern. Sunday to Sunday. What does this tell me? This tells me that it's not real, or it doesn't. Generally speaking, I look at this and I say, okay, if I'm looking at a lot of different coins and they have the exact same pattern as the total crypto market, then there's not something inherently wrong with this one. This isn't telling me that they've lost developers or people no longer want to purchase it or no one's interested in it. It's just telling me it's following the market. Even these greens prior, it's following the exact same pattern. It's unbelievable. Okay. So I've been looking at accumulating and buying more. This one particular one, I like it. I did a video on it. 2.5 just here in March and April, and now it's at 0.5. That's a 5x just to get there. I like their technology and a lot of things. But here's my other point. If you haven't been trading a lot, if you look at the NASDAQ, you look at the New York Stock Exchange, the amount of money is astronomical. The amount of money in crypto is just negligible. It's like nothing. There's so many cryptos, even good ones, that are only a couple $100 million. What does that mean? That means you're going to have volatility. Why are you going to have volatility? Because there's not a lot of money in the market. It doesn't take much to swing it. So my assumption, whether right or wrong, my assumption is that most crypto can be manipulated. My second assumption is that it will be manipulated. So my third is, okay, well, what do I do with that information? Personally, I only put in money that I don't need right now, and I don't leverage. I don't play with leverage because people get wrecked all the time in the market. It's just so volatile. They see orders in, they see orders out, the heat maps, they know what to do. It can be easily manipulated, in my opinion, and I'm going to assume that it will be. So I'm only going to play with money that I don't need right away, like I said, and I'm not playing with leverage. Okay, that's the first thing. So if you take a look at some of these, I believe that September, based on what's happened in the past and the fact that it looks like it's alt season and we've got more money. If I zoom out here, more money, good grief, more liquidity, even recently, a lot more liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised if this liquidity continues to go up. That's what I want to watch. And the all imbalance volume on various things continues to go up. And then I want to see which one of these, in my portfolio will start moving with the market. If it doesn't start moving with the market, I think that's a problem. So I might get out of some early. Who knows? Generally speaking, let's talk about volatility. Not only is there, like we said, a lot of liquidity, a lot of the coming into just global liquidity, and not only are these small market caps that can be easily manipulated. Think about the fact, New York and NASDAQ, Monday through Friday, some after hours trading, but for the most part, you're looking at a small trading window. You've got 168 hours in a week. If you're looking at it 12 hours a day, that's 60 hours out of 168. Okay, Monday through Friday, if you're watching the market for 12 hours, that's like 30 or 35%. Let's say 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours or Sunday, you're keeping an eye on it. It's another 8 hours. We're looking at 40%. Okay. Generally speaking, you may only be watching the markets a third of the time because they're 24 hours a day. You're sleeping, someone else is awake. This is global. If you're in the US or any other country, don't look around and think these are the only people. It's 6 billion people on this planet going 24 hours a day. What's my point? My point is I prefer not to keep things on an exchange, but I have to when I put buy and sell orders. I'm sorry, when I put sell orders, not buy orders. Now, I do have buy orders. Because I want to if I can catch a wick down, it's 53 cents. And, I don't think it'll ever execute, but I got a 30-cent buy order. If it executes, I'm pretty happy because I think it's coming right back up. I bought Axelar this weekend when it was dipping. I got it around 50 cents. I got it actually at 50 cents. I was very lucky. It's already up. Well, not much, but you can see it's kind of hitting these lows. And I don't think it's going to go much lower, but who knows? September could crush. So that's why I wanted to point out today. One, don't freak out. The market, as you can see in the past, September's not great. Don't play with money you don't have. Keep an eye on certain indicators like volume, like M2, and make sure that your coins are following at least the total 3 to make sure that they're just following general market trends as opposed to actually having problems. And if you're going to put in sell orders, it may not be buy orders at this point. To try to catch something super low, why not? I think September is going to have a lot of dips. And I think things could still drop another 20 or 30%, some coins. Wouldn't surprise me before things turn around. So don't freak out. Use it to your advantage. If you're like me and you believe in this next bull run coming and you think September's not going to be great, don't be surprised. I hope this was helpful. I hope it calms you down when you see a lot of things going up and down. It makes you realize if you can't keep an eye on everything, put some buy orders in real low, they might hit, but use the volatility that you're seeing now that's happening while you're hanging out with friends or you're asleep to scare you and to make you realize that you might eventually, maybe not now, maybe 6 months from now, 3 months, depends on the industry and the coin, need to move some things on an exchange and put in some sell orders, at least for some of it, because a lot of these things can happen just overnight and when you're not looking. And it usually is when you're not looking. I don't know why. It must be Murphy's Law. Or the fact that we're probably only watching the markets 30% of the time. So there's a high probability that there's going to be some decent market moves up or down and you're going to miss them. Anyway, have a great day. This is crypto for the rest of us. I hope we can all make generational wealth together in crypto.